I look at the two Need for Speed Underground games almost the exact same way I look at Saints Row 1 and 2. The first one set the foundation for what's to come, and the sequel ultimately improved on virtually every aspect from the first game. But the older I get, the more I start to appreciate the original of both series games. There is something so beautiful in the simplicity of Saints Row 1 that I appreciate, and the same can be said for this game, Need for Speed Underground 1. Let's get the most obvious thing out the way first. Customization was absolutely groundbreaking for its time. Just simply take a look at the other racing games on the market during this period of time. Consumers weren't able to find in-depth customization like they would in Underground 1 in any other game. Colors, body kits, wheels, vinyls, performance, and much more, all wrapped up nicely in a sexy shawarma wrap known as customization mode. This would be a staple feature going forward in the following NFS games to come. The game is very rewarding. Very few times you'll be playing this game and feel like you're not being rewarded for your actions throughout the campaign. Complete a specific story time trial and you'll get the ability to unlock a unique upgrade for your car. You also get various magazine covers featuring your car throughout the campaign. It's a simple yet effective way of keeping the player engaged in an otherwise pretty shallow narrative. Modding the game adds hours of gameplay. There are various mods to mess around on with this game if you have the PC version. There's a chaos mod, a free roam mod. The one I was playing around with the most during my playthrough was the remastered graphics one that changes the look of the game. Whether you think it makes the game look better or worse, well, that's for your own personal interpretation. The handling is very satisfying. You see, in this game, there's none of that brake to drift bullshit you see oftentimes in the new Need for Speed games. Like, hey, if you like that system, more power to you. But I much prefer these physics. The steering is versatile enough to feel like you have full control of your car without going into some sort of comical-like Hollywood movie drift, while at the same time giving you a true sense of speed. This is very prevalent when you get further into the story and unlock those faster vehicles. You truly get a sense of speed. Some might even say you get the need for speed. Even when doing drift events, you never feel like you're not in control of your car. Once again, it's a simple yet very effective system. Speaking of effectiveness, the race variety in this game is perfect. You have your standard circuits, sprints, and lap knockout races, but when you want to change up the pace, you can enter drifting and drag racing events. It's a fantastic way to switch up the pace and make the campaign feel less repetitive. For one, the drifting events are very enjoyable. Racking up combos and seeing just how long you can hold a single drift becomes addictive when you see those flashing dopamine-inducing numbers pop up in your face. And the drag races? Well, don't even get me started on the drag races. These little bad boys are the most rage-inducing thing in this entire game. Sure, the beginning stage ones are a joke, but once you get deeper into the game and attempt one, I promise you, you will crash. Again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. Underground 1 is a clean game in terms of HUD. In the new Need for Speed games, they throw 7 trillion things in your face at any given time. I understand that they're trying to fry your dopamine receptors, especially to you younger folk out there, to give the player a greater sense of accomplishment and enjoyment, but back in my day, it was a very clean style of game. Even when going top speeds, you really wouldn't have too much popping up in your face other than the necessities while driving, and a couple of style points here and there. This game is dripping of early 2000s aesthetic, and I love it so much. I'm a sucker for this time period, I truly am. So playing this game and seeing how much it oozes cheesy early 2000s vibes makes me feel nice and cozy. Want to have a lime green Dodge Neon with a wide body kit? You betcha. Want to be on a cover of a magazine with a hot chick on the cover?
Early 2000s, yes.
It feels like the developers of this game truly studied the Fast and the Furious movies at the time, like their life depended on it. Even the cutscenes themselves give off an old school vibe to them that I find very fitting in this game. In my opinion, they aged pretty well, especially when you compare it next to some of the other Need for Speed games down the line and how they did their cutscenes.
It's over, Razor.
It ain't over until I say it's over.
Speaking of future iterations of Need for Speed, the sequels that followed this game are nothing short of legendary. Just look at the stretch they went on after this game, it's actually insane. EA was truly in their bag during this era. Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, Pro Street, and Undercover. The 4 NFS games that followed Underground 1 are legendary games, and there's no denying that. I even have a video as to why Underground 2 is my favorite racing game of all time. Like I said, for this little period of time, EA were not missing. You know when people say, let them cook? Well, during this time period, all you had to do was let EA cook, and you'd get a banger of a game. Well, that is until Undercover, when things started to decline. Lastly, the progression in this game is nice. You're always being rewarded for completing races and events. You'll notice a bar that slowly fills after every event. Every time you fill it, you unlock a new item. You also unlock each customization item as you progress through the story until you ultimately have the ability to choose a wide body kit for any car after you've beaten the campaign. There's also these time trials you are given, and upon completing them, you will be rewarded with a very unique upgrade for your car. These are the best part of the progression system by far. When I was a kid, I would get so excited each time I knew a unique part was incoming. Just an honorable mention as the 11th subject on this list, the soundtrack in this game is literally god tier. It has a perfect blend of hip-hop, rock, and trance/EDM that all blends together in a nice package. I obviously can't play any of the tracks, but I really wish I could. My advice to you is go play this game. I'm serious. Go play it right now. I'm waiting. And there you have it, folks. 10 reasons why Need for Speed Underground 1 was and still is a big deal. Did I miss anything in your opinion? Feel free to yell at me in the comments below. In the meantime, follow me on Twitter where you can also yell at me there. Well, bye-bye now.